What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about if November is the month that we see Red Hood and Nightwing gameplay. Now, we've talked about this before, right? We talked about, like, what are they doing with them? When are we going to see this in general? I thought that, this being pretty darn early into November would be a good time to kind of set the scene in case it does happen, in which case I could take credit for it and say that's another thing I'm right on. Again, that's just a joke, by the way. I'm just kidding. I know some people get really mad when I say things like that, but no, I do think this month could be it. I don't have any, like here's all the stats, here's my spreadsheet that, proves it, but I do want to go off of what we know, what maybe the plan going forward is. I will be, by the way, we're getting closer and closer to the Game Awards, right? It's only in a month and 6 days. It's December 10th that happens, so going to be making videos on Gotham Knights for the Game Awards. We'll talk about it, if it is or isn't there, so plenty of coverage on that stuff, and actually, I'm going to talk about a lot of different games if it is or isn't going to be at the Game Awards. It's going to be a really fun end of November, besides the fact that 2 small indie consoles release next week. So, look, I feel like they are setting the scene for at least, and this could be anticlimactic, for at least the end of the year. I'm not 100% sold on November, although I do think it's possible, but I do think before the end of this year, we get Nightwing and Red Hood stuff, okay? I really, really do think that's the case, and the reasoning is a couple things. Number one, we have 2 characters out of 4, and they're all equally important, and that's a big thing, and I don't even think I mentioned that in the video, a month or so ago. That's an important detail, because it's not like we have a game where there's, say, and I don't even know many examples of games like this, but say a game that's got, 1 or 2 main characters and then some side characters, but maybe we could, play as them. Or maybe think about a game where maybe even like an Arkham game, right, where we know that we're fighting, we could play, like Arkham Knight, where we could play as Nightwing and stuff like that. It's not vital you show that right away or early on or, around the same time as you would show everything else, right? Those are things you can kind of space out. With a game like this, there's 4 characters. They are all equally important. And why are they equally important? Well, because we could play as any of them for the entire game. That's the best way of saying it, and that's the best way, I think, to drive home the point I'm trying to make is, while I'm probably going to main Batgirl, okay, you could main Red Hood the entire time. And I have already seen several minutes. Again, I guess it's all pretty, we're looking at very small pockets of things because we have literally only seen a couple minutes of gameplay. But I have Batgirl stuff to go off of. You have nothing to go off of for Red Hood. You know what I mean? And so that's important because we have Robin and we have Batgirl already done. And we have, I guess, Mr. Freeze, too. But we don't have the other 2 characters. And again, it's not like they're side characters. They are literally equally as important as the 2 that we know, okay? So to keep them, out of the spotlight for months and months and months and months, and this leads to the next point, is promotion. So you look at their Twitter. You look at it every single week. The issue with their Twitter, and I think people are really starting to point this out, and even now I am starting to I'll tweet them when they tweet something, this stuff as well. All the stuff they do is post the same, really. And I mean, it's kind of like our thumbnails, right? There's only so many pictures of Gotham Knights that is available. We just have to find different ways of putting in different areas of the thumbnail, right? It's the same thing, honestly, for their Twitter, where they do these job postings. Just say that's one example, and they have to use the exact same Robin picture every other week. You know what I mean? Because they can't use Red Hood or Nightwing because there are none. You know what I mean? Now there are. I mean, I guess you could take the frame shot from the trailer, right? The main trailer, and because there's the nice Red Hood, the nice Nightwing picture there. But you know what I mean? They're kind of limited as to what they're able to do, and that expands. So in reality, we have, they have the back, and this is where I really sense that they're setting it up. So what did we have? Well, we had Batgirl, right? We had Batgirl's gear on their Twitter, and then we also had that Batgirl fan art promotion thing, right, where people could do their own versions and they promote it in their tweet. Okay, now wasn't it last week they did the Robin one? So it was the Robin art, and the week before that was the Robin gear. So look what they've done over the past month and a half. Now, yes, did they possibly tease Poison Ivy? Yeah, probably. So they're doing other random stuff in between, but for the most part, what they've done is they've done Batgirl, they've shown her gear, they let people have their own take on her character. They did Robin, and they did the exact same thing. They are literally out of stuff. What is there more? Now, I will give them credit. They are doing, I mean, I guess you could say they're doing a pretty terrible job promoting it. I guess it swings either, depending on which aspect of it you would look at. They are giving people plenty to like look at, right? Or at least plenty to keep like in touch with, because they are posting weekly. Now, is it anything groundbreaking? Is it anything new? No. Do I still stand by this is pretty much those couple months of darkness that I was talking about months ago? Yeah, that's pretty much what we're in. I mean, after those interviews, this is what we've now gotten. They've gone silent. They're showing us things that aren't the biggest deal in the world. Even the gear, like while the gear is important, they're not showing it as it's important. Like we will probably get a full gameplay presentation or a full blog post or a full something on the gear at some point in the coming months, and that is them going all in. These pictures are not going all in. So in reality, in a way, they've stopped themselves. You know what I mean? They've put like an end to it where it's like, well, they couldn't possibly, and we've said this multiple times, right? They can't possibly do this. They wouldn't possibly do that. And you know what? They always do it. They always prove us wrong. So I guess we should give them credit for always under like getting below our expectations. That's really what they do, nonstop. But they really have put a stop where it's like, okay, eventually they've got to show us Nightwing and Red Hood, because there's nothing else to show. They've kind of reached their end. And again, you look at it where now combine this part to what I said in the beginning of the video. So you've already done Robin and Batgirl. You've ran out of promotional stuff to do with those two characters. You have two other characters that are equally as important that you have neglected, honestly on purpose and for like a good reason, I would say. But but they're equally as important. And the game is coming out relatively soon. Now, I think people. Now, I don't speak for everybody. I don't pretend to speak for everybody. But I would say from what I've seen, it seems like people are generally starting to lose a little bit of confidence that the game can come out like very early 2021. Now, I've always said, March, April? Wasn't that my prediction? Or February, March? Somewhere in that realm was always where I thought that the game was going to be. So let's just say March, because I can't remember if I said February, March, or March, April. But March is definitely the middle point there. If the game comes out March, April, even like May, we are entering a period where it's like, okay, the clock kind of resets. So you did DC Fandom, you did Batgirl and Robin, and now you've given yourself like 3 months. Now do it again. Do another one with Red Hood, with Nightwing, and then with another villain. And then you give yourself a couple more months where you could do the same promotional tactics on them. And that gives you a couple more months. And then you hit us again in February, say, and that's when you start going. Again, all of it is very up to when the game releases. So if the game releases in like February, then you expect them to really start they got to really start going. You know what I mean? But if the game comes out in like May or June, well, then there's more of an in-between time. I get what people could say. Maybe they're holding off to show a thing like they did at DC Fandom at the Game Awards. Again, without making this a Game Awards video, because I do want to talk about that in its own video, a thing to remember is this: the Game Awards is only so long. Jeff Keighley is a guy who is very passionate about a lot of different games. He's talked about. Now, I've been on like the Zoom calls with him, not personally like me with him, but those Zoom calls that he's done every week, I've been on them, okay? And it does honestly offer some insight on how he thinks of the Game Awards, and I do want to talk about that in those Game Award videos. But the basic point is, I don't think there's going to be too many 5 to 7 minute like extended gameplay walkthroughs at the Game Awards, okay? That's not what they are. That's not what they're going to randomly become now. Could it be a trailer? Yeah. Could it be a new game announcement? Yeah. Could it be, whatever? Could that happen? Yes. But are we going to get like a 7 to 8 minute breakdown like we did, back in August? No. I mean, I think factually we would not. So if we're talking about getting that August thing repeated again for Red Hood and Nightwing, I do think it's coming before the end of the year. I think it would make sense to do that, because then you really, again, I don't want to say that you can't, Warner Bros. Montreal can't do this to us, because they probably will, but to make it go on to like say January, because they have history of again promoting things in January, right? Remember last year, that's where the redacted stuff came from. If they waited till January, what are they going to do for all of November and December? They've seemingly ran out of things to do, so they eventually have to give us something, because they got like 8 or so weeks. Now, they probably won't tweet anything around like the Christmas period, right? They'll take a break there. But they really got like 6 to 8 weeks still where they'll probably do some sort of promotional stuff. can they do that, or what will they do? That'll be the interesting thing, I think, to watch as these upcoming weeks go on. So we'll see if November happens. It seems possible. At the same time, next week is the next gen stuff. They probably would want to stay completely out of that, right? Because everybody's going to be focused on that. Maybe around Thanksgiving time, especially because it's Canada. They don't even celebrate Thanksgiving, United States Thanksgiving. So maybe that last full week of November is the time that they say, hey, this would be a good time to do something like that. Again, we'll have to keep our eyes out, but I do think it's coming relatively soon. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think. When do you think we'll see these two in action, whether it be gameplay or trailer or whatever? Let me know. As always, make sure you guys are subscribed, bell icon turned on so you know when all of these videos go up. All of my other social media stuff is, as always, in the description below this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. New videos on Gotham Knights every couple days, and I'll see you guys there.